What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here with another opposition preview. And funnily enough, it's actually the first collab that we ever did. And welcome back to the channel, Lee from Newcastle Fan TV. How you doing, Lee?
I'm good, lads. How are yous?
Yeah, doing good. I mean, it was a nice, relaxing international break with no domestic football. I'm sure it was welcome your end as well.
Yeah, I've actually quite enjoyed the international break because we haven't had no negative football to watch.
Yeah, no, definitely. But look, it's a big game this weekend for both our seasons. You're looking, obviously, to stay up. We're looking at potentially getting a fourth position Champions League spot. How are you feeling coming into this game?
Very negative.
Yeah.
It's not great being a Newcastle fan. I've just been speaking to you off camera about it as well. It's back to toxic up here. Protests after games, flags are going up, banners are going up after defeat. We don't mind getting beat, lads. What we want to see is a bit of effort, a bit of fight, a nice, attractive football. But you've seen it even in the reverse fixture when we stole a point, because that was never a penalty. When we stole a point at the lane, I mean, it's exactly the same football we've been playing all season. Park the bus. Yes, we have been playing a little bit more coming out. It hasn't helped that we've had three of our best forwards out, which they are due to be back for this game. That's probably the small positive to come out of it.
Obviously, against Tottenham, everyone's players always come back against us. Always.
Oh, of course.
Ben, we need our players back. I mean, look, we don't score goals. So Callum Wilson, if he makes it, it'll be a massive bonus for us. But it's not great. I'll put it politely. It's not great up here.
Yeah, there was this Athletic. They did some polls recently. I don't know if you saw this, and it was in terms of the happiness of the fans, who they want in charge next season. And Newcastle, I think, ranked bottom in terms of fans' happiness. In terms of at the moment, they're well, I think Sheffield United fans apparently are happier than Newcastle fans at the moment. There's always this myth that some football fans peddle, oh, I don't even mind if we go down because we'll just reset and maybe it'll be better for the long term and that kind of stuff. Is there any feelings towards that kind of approach, or are you desperate to stay in the Premier League?
We're going down at the minute. I've got no hope whatsoever Newcastle staying up, and that's when we got beat up Brighton. Brighton hadn't won for ages at home, and Brighton looks like Brazil playing in the away kit in the blue. They were absolutely brilliant, but we made them look brilliant. 3-0 defeat and no fight. We all thought this is the time Bruce is going to go. He's going to get sacked now. It's the international break. Perfect time. Get somebody in. Lift the place. To your question, Si, about going down, no, because there's a championship manager already there at the helm right now. So if we go down the championship, hey, we've got a championship manager right there. And no, we'll stick with Steve Bruce. The time to sack him was in this international break. The time's gone now.
Mm-hmm. You're saying the time to sack him has gone, but if you were to sack him, let's say you were to sack him, who would you have wanted in?
If he doesn't go to Celtic, Eddie Howe, he's free, he's available, he's hungry. Will he want to work with Mike Ashley? I mean, who wants to work with Mike Ashley? Nobody, unless you're a dinosaur. Someone who's been out of the game for years. I think Eddie Howe is ambitious, he's hungry. I think he's waiting for the next job. I think the Celtic one would be a great one for him. There is a couple of the lads on our channel. One, Stephen Gerrard, who's done fantastic well at Rangers, a little bit unproven in the Premier League, but that's a big ask if you want to leave Rangers, where you're winning titles, doing well in Europe, and come to a place where it's toxic. I think the Newcastle job is for an experienced man, and I think I would like to say Eddie Howe, but even if we're pointed at Eddie Howe, lads, and then we went down, similar to when we went down with Rafa, we've got that hope that we can get straight back up again. It's a totally different mindset. If we go down with Steve Bruce, we know we have Steve Bruce next season, which we don't want.
Do you think it's mainly down to the manager why you're doing so bad, or do you think the personnel and the playing staff also not good enough?
I think you've got to look at Mike Ashley first, then it goes down the pyramids. So you've got to put most of the blame on Ashley, because that's where we are at the moment. We used to be a big club. We used to be in Europe every year, or most years before Ashley came in. Now we're one of the small fish in the league, which is we've just seen our club go that way the last 13, 14 years. So it has to be him, because Rafa Benitez should have been here. He should have had that contract and the ambition. But we've moved on from Rafa. We'll have Steve Bruce. this side should not be sitting and scraping in 17th position. This side should be comfortably 11th, 12th, 13th. With the squad that we've got, with the likes of Fraser, Alan St-Maxim, Miguel Miron, Callum Wilson, that is a squad, Dubravka, some talented midfielders. That's a squad that should be safe, a good 10 points above where we are. But
Agreed.
the manager this season has us where he is because he's not a proven Premier League manager. Steve Bruce is, I'll keep it clean, just get out of our club, please.
Yeah, and I feel for you on that front. And I feel like as well, like not sacking Bruce now, maybe you're making the same mistake you made with McLaren in terms of hanging on to him too long. Like that's exactly what happened with McLaren. Then by the time you sacked him, it was too late, and Benitez didn't have enough games to kind of recover the situation. And I even feel like now, I reckon it's not too late now to sack Bruce because you're outside the relegation zone. So a new manager could get a new manager bounce, and you could get a bit of a short-term lift. Is all you need. But you know, you're staring down the face of a third relegation within the last 10 years? Is that?
Yeah.
What kind of effect is that having on the fan base? That those kind of things.
Well, you lads know you follow Spurs home and away. Obviously, the pandemic stopped both of our channels doing that, and your football is your release from all the crap that we've had the last 12 months because we can't do much. But football's not a release at the minute. It's horrible up here. You say you look forward to games, you don't because you know what's coming. It's negative football. It's men behind the ball. And then some of the stuff that Bruce comes out with for press conferences, well, you know, we played well, you know, and all of this. It's belittling the fans, and he's gone against the fans now. And, you know, he's called us Rafa lovers and what have you. And it's not good at the minute. It's very, like you say, Si, it's very like McLaren, but I would have McLaren over Bruce any day of the week. And that's
wow.
something about
that is saying something.
Yeah.
That is saying something.
Because at least with McLaren, although we weren't going down with McLaren, at least McLaren would occasionally attack teams.
Yeah, and also I want to ask you about what your opinion, how much. I know there's been a few months in this whole situation, but the whole thing in the summer about the takeover, which didn't materialize, and if you're still looking for answers from the Premier League, I don't think they've ever really addressed it, have they? Why they rejected the takeover from Newcastle, not properly anyway, and whether if you've heard anything or whether there's still a takeover at some point in the offing from not maybe not from them, or if you've heard if anyone else is interested in a takeover for Newcastle.
Well, this is the strange thing as well, Si, because if we go down, we'll have that takeover approved easier, which is that devil a better. You know, we don't want to go down, but it would be approved, which is strange.
Would you take if I told you if you go down, it will definitely be approved? Would you accept that? Would you say, all right, I'll take going down for it to be approved?
I wouldn't want to go down, of course not. But if you give me that choice, yes, I would. We've got to get Mike Ashley out. The club's bigger than Mike Ashley. And the club will live on past Mike Ashley. We can always come back.
There's even a conspiracy that maybe Ashley was trying to take you down on purpose to get the takeover.
Yeah, that's one conspiracy. Mike Ashley is fighting the Premier League. There is still an ongoing battle. It's going to go in arbitration. The club are battling. The club came out a couple of months ago saying that they are fighting the Premier League, which I've never heard of in my time being a football, that a club is actually sanctioned in the Premier League. So whether Mike Ashley's just trying to win some money back or he's trying to force the takeover, I don't think the takeover's gone through. I think that's gone now. The window's passed, and there might be a new name in a year's time or what have you. But I mean, I would, you know what? Honestly, what I would probably take, lads, is probably even if someone spent less money than Ashley but communicated with our fans, I would take that. Because we don't have that. We have no relationship with Lee Charnley, Mike Ashley, none whatsoever. We've just done a mental health celebrity quiz recently. We had Ant and Deck involved, and we had Shearer involved. Big names, got them on the channel. The club didn't even bother help. Didn't help us sharing it. Didn't promote it. Nothing. That's kind of the mindset where the club is. They have no relationship with the fans because it's negative.
So it's a strange one because we were doing a stream a couple of days ago about the 20 years of Daniel Levy, and a lot of people were calling in complaining about Levy, saying, on the footballing side, he's such a bad chairman. And I think one of your guys, I'm not sure if it was you or someone else.
It was me,
it's commented saying, you should think before you speak because of Mike Ashley. And it made me think, like, we sound a bit spoiled talking about Daniel Levy in that light when, you know, you've got someone like Mike Ashley at the helm. But, you know, going on to Tottenham, how do you assess us this season?
very indifferent from what I've seen. Like I said, the game at the lane is dominated and he was stolen 2 points. I mean, after that game, I couldn't believe that we came away with a point because that rule got changed. But overall, it's just been hit and miss, hasn't it? Bale obviously started to come in a bit of form, started scoring a lot of goals. And Kane, and we can talk about Kane and Son because they're world-class talent. You know, they're always going to be there. But going out there, I mean, you would have watched that Europa League game, how you've lost that one, crashing in Dynamo Zagreb. I mean, that was one where that was the first thing. Ooh. I mean, you're still in for the Champions League. That your season definitely isn't over. I mean, I think West Ham will probably fade off despite having a fantastic season. I think it's between you, Chelsea, and Liverpool for the final spot. I think Leicester will nick third place. It's very indifferent, but Mourinho goes around saying he wins trophies, but you desperately need a trophy because obviously you're a big six club, but you're on putting trophies in the cabinet. Which, I mean, I want to talk because we haven't won now since 1969, but we're not a big club. We're not expected to win things. You guys are.
No, 100%. And also on Jose Mourinho, what's your thinking on Jose Mourinho? Because he kind of splits the fan base, kind of. I'm not sure if it's 50-50, but he splits it quite heavily. I think me and my brother here are quite heavily Jose Mourinho fans. But we are kind of being swayed here and there after game. It's very indifferent, but a lot of the fan base do want him out. What's your thinking from an outside perspective on Jose Mourinho?
It's tough because what if he gets your top four? Would you still want him out?
I mean, I personally don't want him out. I think there's bigger issues at the club than Jose Mourinho.
I mean, he has his critics that he's too defensive, doesn't he? That's his critics, and he's got. I mean, your forward line's world class. I think your defenders are aging. I don't think your goalkeeper's as good as what he used to be. I think he's too many injury prone, and also errors that come into his game. But you know, he's got a beautiful stadium, absolutely stunning. I mean, we came there, we won 1-0 in that red hot day, and even Joe Linton.
We can't beat you at that stadium.
Joe Linton. Is that his only goal? Is that his only goal?
No, he's only 1 or 2 goals. I was crying that day. But you've got everything, a lot of things going for you. And you say, obviously, we're twisting about Ashley and Levy, but you've got to look at other clubs that look at Bury, look at Bolton, look at Portsmouth, look at Coventry. Yeah. I mean, we're quite lucky. We're actually still, I mean, I say that lightly, still a Premier League side, but we always want better. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I want to be back to when it was the Bobby days. It was great. That's a long way off being European football and what have you. You guys want to be winning trophies. So it's that old saying, be careful what you wish for because you don't know what is next, do you?
100%.
Yeah, and how do you expect it to when fans do come back? Obviously, it looks like it's going to be the end of the season. What kind of do you expect? Like a lot of protests, a lot of backlash against the board, against the manager when fans get back in the stadium?
Definitely, 100%, 100%. Even if there's a percentage of fans of, say, 10,000 get it at St. James's, there'll still be a crowd, maybe half the size, outside protesting because it'll be their chance. It'll be picked up by the likes of Keith Downey on Sky Sports. It'll be picked up by the local press. It's the chance to voice for the first time that they're not happy. So whether that's, I would imagine it would be peaceful. You might get the odd one or 2 idiots that go over the line, but I hope not. But look, the club are against the fans coming in. I do believe Henry Winter's tweet that we are that club that don't want the fans inside the ground for obvious reasons. But it's not good. It's very negative up here at Newcastle, and I expect you to thump with this weekend.
Yeah, you say you expect to thump us, but you know, I thought over the last couple of weeks, since you got St. Maximan back and a few other players back, I thought you started to play quite well and you started to go forward, but you weren't getting the points on the board. How do you expect to set up against us?
If they're back, because Miggy was back, he wasn't fully fit, but we have been playing a little bit better. I think Graham Jones coming in, we got him from Bournemouth as one of the coaches. And we have came out with shell a little bit. There has been some fantastic performances like Everton, where we beat them, and Southampton with 9 men, which was incredible. So Bruce has got 1 or 2, but the majority of it's been negative. I expect us to be like the away side, even though we're at home. I think we're going to play on the counter. I don't think it'll be heavily park the bus. I think we will come out, but that's only because we'll have Wilson's been in training for 7 to 10 days now. So has Alan St. Maximin. Miggy hasn't gone in international duty, which has helped us. So we'll have those three. If all three could those start, we might nick a goal, but I expect it to set up 4-2-3-1. But I expect you to win 4-0. That's how bad it is.
4-0.
Wow.
4-0 Spurs.
Wow.
You think if there had been fans all the whole season, do you think Bruce would still be in a job if there had been fans in the stadiums all season?
It's a tough one, that one. I think there'll be definitely more pressure. I think there'll be a lot more vocally. I think you know that. You all know our fan base are mad and passionate.
We know.
We don't know if Ashley will take note of that. So Ashley plays at his own game. He only cares about one thing, and that's keeping his shops open, making money. And unfortunately, Newcastle United is a shop to him.
All right, Lee. Absolute pleasure as always to get you on. Unfortunately, we won't be coming up to Newcastle because of the whole situation. Well, I was looking forward to a good night out in Newcastle once again.
It's been sunny as well. It's been nice and sunny.
Yeah, I know. Would have been a nice one. It
sunny.
really would have been a nice one, but it's not to be. Hopefully next season we'll get to meet up and have a beer and what have you up in
Definitely.
Newcastle or down in London. But yeah, look, thanks a lot for coming on. Hopefully we'll get to speak to you after the game as well and give a little bit of a review. But yeah, Lee, thanks a lot for coming on and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, Lee.
Cheers. Bye.